These are questions that I got here from the North Carolina State University paper, and so I'm just going to answer them in video format so that I guess everyone can enjoy them if they find them enjoyable. So question number one, where did you get the idea of making such a website? What was the inspiration or reason? So, and this, forgive me if any of you are tired of hearing the story, but it really did start with my cousins, Nadia in particular. In 2004, I started tutoring her. And really everything that is the Khan Academy now, or at least a lot of its initial stages, were out of me as a tutor needing tools to help my cousins. So the first software, and it was actually written before the first video I started working on in 2005, was a way to give my cousins, Nadia being one of them, and then her brothers, practice, and also for me to be able to keep track of what they were doing, and for them and for me to be able to not use the time that we had on the phone, kind of doing all of the practice problems so they could do it on their own. Then I started making the videos so that they could pause and repeat and watch a lot of the stuff at their own pace, at their own time, and then we could use our in-person time. It was still remote tutoring, but our in-person time to do the exact problems that they were having. So it's been a very organic process all the way you get to last year where we got our major funding. And once again, it was, what are the needs of the students that we're hearing from on YouTube that are messaging us. Even this whole notion of what's happening in Los Altos and the pilots and the other pilots we're now starting in this year. We kind of thought that eventually we could use it in schools, but it was one of these opportunities that just happened through happenstance, where someone reached out to us and said, hey, what would you do if you could do anything you want with a fifth grade classroom? And we told them, and that's what we've been doing. So I guess, there's the inspiration or the reason. I guess I can give credit to my cousins, and maybe a little bit to my own kind of when I was going through schooling myself, I did sometimes feel frustrated that we couldn't use class time in a more interactive way, or that we couldn't learn at our own pace. But it really has been a very organic, gradual process of layering on things that seem to make sense, and building them, and then seeing if they work. And we actually think we're still in the very early stages of that process, and that we have a long way to go, and a lot more things to experiment and test. Question number two, where do you get all the videos from? So the simple answer to this first part of the question is we get them all from me right now. I am the only faculty, I'm the only person on the site right now. We have 2,500, I think we're even pushing 2,600 videos right now. And then the second part of the question is, are the coaches allowed to upload their own personal videos? So right now the coaches are not allowed to upload their own personal videos. Obviously they can tell students independently of Khan Academy that they could watch those videos. But this is something that we are very seriously looking at. And not just coaches, but we're very seriously looking at a way for people to create their own Khan Academy experience on top of our platform that they could expose either to their students or to the world generally. And we hope that they would expose them to the world generally. Right now it's just an engineering bottleneck. We don't have the bandwidth to do it, although we think it could be a really powerful thing. Closer to that, in terms of where do we get all the videos, this is something that you expect to hear a lot more from us soon. Some people might have noticed that I have started to do some videos experimenting with this interview form factor, where I'm getting outside experts, but I'm there as well. I'm there as well talking to them about some of these concepts, and them educating me. But you'll also see we're bringing on some full-time faculty members in the humanities soon, who I think have made some tremendous videos, and so their libraries are going to be integrated soon, and I think people are going to really enjoy it. So the short answer, all the videos right now are from me. In the next few months, you're going to see some other very talented teachers come into the mix that we've really found to be rock stars. And then you go out maybe another year and a half, I think you're going to have ways for coaches to create, or just people generally to use Khan Academy as a more generalized learning platform. And it's an open question on how much that becomes a mainstream experience, or do we use kind of crowdsourcing to curate the content, to say what's good and what's not. It's still an open question. We haven't really figured that one out. What is your target audience? So it's a kind of a simple answer. I hope you don't find that I'm not answering the question, but it's really everybody. It's really anyone who let's say, put it independent of the traditional schooling system or the traditional hurdles people have to jump through. It's anyone who wants to learn, anyone who's curious about the world. That's our target audience, and we see it. We get letters from people who are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 70s, who are just learning for fun. So that is our target audience. But on top of that, we obviously care about the stakeholders in other people's learning, so teachers and parents. And so we are also trying to make sure that they find us to be a very useful tool in their arsenal, that can, and hopefully a transformational tool in their arsenal to make their classes all that more rich and interactive. Number 4, in many cases, the students open some social networking or other websites or play games as soon as they sit in front of a computer. I think that is true. So do you think teaching online lectures education can substitute the in-class way of teaching? Well, it depends what the in-class way of teaching is, and it depends on what students' motivations are. I mean, it's true. Students they like to go to Facebook or social or websites or whatever else. And the reality is that's getting in the way of not just online learning. That's getting in the way of learning, period. I'm sure that's getting in the way of the traditional homework and studying that they have to do right now. And to some degree, the fact that the studying is only a click away makes it a little bit easier than the fact that the studying is go to your knapsack and take out a textbook and turn to page 543 and then read that dense text and then open up your notebook and do every other odd problem or whatever it is, whatever your homework assignment might be. I actually think it lowers the threshold to starting the interaction with the learning. I think it also lowers it because I would hope that our content is viewed as approachable content and content that focuses on the beauty of the learning as opposed to the kind of the mechanical nature of the learning. So, and I think when most people are exposed to that, they find it much more satisfying. And on a broad level, and maybe this is being a little bit too hopeful, I think when content becomes interesting, everyone does feel better when they're learning than when they spend 5 hours stalking people on a social networking site. And so I think once people experience it, they're like, you know what, I actually enjoy it when I spend more time learning than when I do other things. But with that said, it's an open question, and we don't claim to solve it. And like I've answered in a previous interview, if people are going to skip out on if people are, when they go home, if they're not going to do their assignments or if they're not going to do their learning, I would rather they skip out on lectures than skip out on doing problems. And so that's where I think this whole notion of flipping a classroom or whatever is important, is that if someone's not going to do any work at home, whether it's watching videos or doing traditional homework, it's when you go to the classroom, I still think it's more important that students do problems there with their peers and their teacher there than getting this lecture that they may or may not be able to be prepared for or be able to pay attention to, or that they might not find engaging, and then never get to do the practice. But the ideal obviously is that they use the human time in the classroom for interaction, and then they go home and there they do exercises and videos at their own pace. So it's not just watching lectures at home, it's exercises and videos, whatever's appropriate at that stage of the learning process. Question number 5. What, according to you, is the future of online education? Well, having lectures, actually I don't think I answered the second part of that first question. So do you think online lectures education can substitute the in-class way of teaching? I think online lectures education can substitute the in-class way of lecturing, especially the relatively non-interactive lectures that I've been a part of in college and the rest, where it's really a professor lecturing and everyone taking notes and there's very little interaction. I don't think it's a substitute for in-class discussion or in-class simulations or in-class problem solving or in-class interaction. And to take it a step further, I actually think it's a catalyst. I think online lectures, education, self-paced problems, they're not something that's a substitute for in-class interaction. They're a catalyst for in-class interaction, because when you can get everything done at your own pace, at your own time, then that makes the conversation you have in class, the projects, the experiments, the explorations you have in class, that much more productive, and it frees up time for them. So I actually think it's a catalyst for it and not a substitute. Number 5, what according to you is the future of online education? Will having lectures online have impact on the way students are taught in the class? Well, I'll answer the second part first, and that's it's kind of what I just touched on. Yes, I think, right now universities are already telling their students, or even high schools, hey, go do the reading, read page 40 through 70 tonight, and then come back to lecture the next day, and you'll get a better experience. Some students do it, some students don't. We think the videos are a much more approachable thing to have to do the night before. And even if the student doesn't do it the night before, the value is you always have it there. So even if you don't do it the night before, and in a traditional model right now, you go to class and you're lost because you didn't do the reading, at least now you have the equivalent of a lecture that's, and I think better because it's granular and all the rest, that you can review when you need to do it, pause and repeat, review things from previous years. But it's going to have a way. It has a huge impact, I think, on the way students are taught in class, because they will no longer be lectured, because that is what's happening outside. So I think our biggest role, and I think, I can't emphasize this enough, is we are all about taking lecture out of the class. We're not saying that lecture is the best way to learn. We're just saying let's take it out of the class. We're saying that interaction with teachers and your peers are the best way to learn, and we hope to be a catalyst. We hope to be a catalyst for that. In terms of what is the future of online education, open question. We don't even know what the future of the Khan Academy is. It's something that we're constantly experimenting with, being open-minded about what works and what doesn't, and then adapting. And so it's not something that I'm 100% sure of. I hope there's a future 5 or 10 years where anyone can go online and get a deep learning or understanding of anything, and then on top of that, I hope there's a way that they can prove what they know, so that they could credential. They can say, look, I don't need to take algebra anymore because I've proven that I really understand this. And it could be with traditional exams, or it could be, and this is what's interesting about online, maybe it's something with crowd-based oral exams, where if you want to become a level 5 algebraist and you're level 4 right now, there's 5 out of 5 level 5 people have to say that you're ready for level 5, or ready to be deemed level 5, and you do a Skype or a meetup or who knows what it might be to be evaluated. So there's even ways with online education to bring the best of physical education into a scalable way. Right now, the gold standard of examination is the oral examination, but it only happens for during PhD qualifiers, because it's not, there aren't the resources to do it for people kind of at the undergraduate or regular K through 12 level. But I think with crowdsourcing, we could start to explore some really interesting ways, but we don't know the answers there. Number 6, with respect to your article in the Wall Street Journal regarding the Khan Academy, could you please elaborate the concept of taking lectures at home and doing homework in class? So this is something I really want to emphasize, because this really caught on after I gave a TED talk about flipping the classroom. And the idea there was, I mentioned, is that, hey, I made these videos and I started getting letters from teachers who said, hey, you made the videos. So the teachers then started to assign the videos as homework, and then using class time for actual homework, for actually doing problem solving, which I think is super important. But that was halfway through the TED Talk, and what we're trying to do at Khan Academy is really go a step further than that, and say, whether you're at home or in the classroom or on the train, learn at your own pace, whether it's watching videos or doing exercises. Whatever's appropriate for you, learn at your own pace. And then your teacher will have data on what you've been working on, and maybe whether you are stuck. And so that when you go with that interaction with the teacher, if you don't need any help, maybe some of it is still continuing to work at your own pace with videos and exercises, but the teacher will know when you do need help. So even if you're shy, they'll have that data and they can come up to you and hopefully have a productive intervention with you. And so what we're saying is, it's not so much about a pure flip. We think it's a step beyond that. Everyone works at their own pace, at their own time, mastering concepts before they move on. And the real crux of what the Khan Academy is making that class time as interactive as possible, and leveraging that human in the room, whether it's the teacher or your peers, so that they can do what humans are best at, which is mentor, diagnose, understand what exactly a student's problem is, and take it to the next level. Do what the videos and the exercises could not do.